Society likes to make women feel guilty about having childcare. I was at this networking dinner and we were all talking about things that we've gone through in our careers. And one woman said, for a very long time, I wouldn't say out loud that I had a nanny because I felt so much shame and guilt around this idea that I had a nanny and I wasn't spending all that time with my kids. And one of the questions that came up at the table was, well, did your husband feel the same way? And she said, no, he doesn't. He doesn't feel the same way about having a nanny. And that's because it's kind of always expected that somebody else is caring for the kids when men are working, right? There's always the assumption that either it's grandma, it's mom, it's a nanny, it's daycare, but of course it's not him, right? And so there is no guilt or shame because there's always an assumption that somebody's caring for your kids. But women often feel a lot of shame because there's this pressure that we need to be on 24/7 in order to be good parents. And today it is the Monday after the kind of Christmas holiday. My kids have been home for 7 days. And today I sent my two youngest to daycare and my two oldest to camp for a full day, even though I was only working a half day. And I did that because I needed a beat. I had to run some errands. I had to do returns. I went to a yoga class. I reset my house. I answered some calls. I filed some paperwork. I did things that just had to get done around the house and were easier to do without the kids. And at first I felt guilty. I was like, oh, I could keep them home with me, but it'd be a lot harder to do all these things. And I would love just like 1 hour to myself to go to yoga. And if they go to their full day of daycare and camp, then I will get that. And then I walked it back and I was like, wait, why am I feeling guilty? Because first and foremost, my kids are so excited to go, to see their friends, to play, to do fun activities. And also they're bored of being at home. They've been at home for almost a week now. They've had so much excitement, all the new toys. They've gone to the movies, they've gone sledding, they've gone ice skating, they've done all the things. And now they just want to go back to a routine with their friends. And so I'm not going to feel guilty about that. They're having a good time and I'm having a day where I get to decompress, and I'm not going to feel guilty about that because we make women feel far too guilty about so many things, especially motherhood. And childcare is just one thing that we shouldn't feel guilty about.